Who are you? I'm your future brother in law. Your sister has just got engaged to me a few days ago. I saw him from head to toe. The talks about Dania's relationship were going, but since I had my college exams, I was engrossed in books. Just now, I came to a nearby store to get an essential book when a handsome young man started saying hi hello to me. I had never seen him before. I asked him about his informal manner. Seeing me staring at him like this, he said, "If you're done examining, can we talk business?" I said, "Talk business?" He said, "Yes, talk business. I need your number," he said. "First tell me, how can I believe that you are indeed my brother in law, Arif, and my sister's Dania's fiance? Haven't seen you, nor have you seen me." He said, "I have seen you. You were in your room at that time holding a thick book and a teacup. You were wearing a blue suit." I looked at him through my glasses. My mother was saying that the boy is 28 years old, very well mannered, quite speaks thoughtfully, but he was completely the opposite. I still didn't know that Danya's engagement was fixed. I picked up my desire book and went to the counter. He came right behind me. He asked, "You didn't give me your number." I said, "What will you do with my number?" "You should take Danya's number instead." He said, "No, not her number." He said, "Your family has already said that boys and girls shouldn't talk before marriage." "Oh, then when did they said to start talking to the sister-in-law?" He said, "Oh, I'll ask you about Dania. And if you're in a good mood, you can even make us talk." I said okay and gave him the number. He said thank you and left. I shrugged and came home. My mother asked, "When will your exams end?" I said, "I don't know. For me, they have become a torture." "Okay, tell me, when was Danya's engagement fixed?" Hearing my words, my mother looked at me in surprise. She said, "Oh, here we are talking about the engagement ceremony, and now you're asking when the engagement was fixed." "Madam, it's been 8 days." I said, "Oh, okay. And when is the engagement?" I asked, pushing my glasses up my nose. My mother said, "It's just after your exams are over." I said, "Mom, you did really well. What's the fun in my sister's engagement during the exams?" Before going to the room, I asked my mother, "Do you have any picture of my brother Arif?" She said, "Yes, it's on my phone." My mother showed me the picture from the phone. As soon as I saw the picture, I was greatly in shock because the young man I met in the bookshop saying he was my brother in law was not that person. He had a mustache and was a bit heavily built, and his face was completely different. I asked, "Who is this, Mom?" She said, "Danya's fiance." My senses were blown away. So, who was he then? I became worried. If I told my mother, she would surely start taunting me for my foolishness, saying I gave my number to just anyone. On top of that, I gave him my number like a fool, as if he was my gardener's son. I neither took his number nor asked him anything in return. These days, the tension of my exam was weighing on my head like a ghost. I came to the room and Danya was talking to someone on the phone in a very polite and reserved manner. I asked her with a gesture, and she glared at me and gestured for me to leave the room. But instead I sat down. I also put my ears to the phone. It was some boy. "Who are you talking to?" I asked. She said, "It's Arif. He's asking me what color I prefer for the engagement." Danya told me after hanging up the phone. I said, "You have his number. Where did it come from?" They said Arif's sister had given it. Now I came even more worried. I couldn't understand whether to tell Dania or not. Then I thought I should let it be. But deep down I was also scared, wondering who had fooled me and left. I didn't have much time overthinking because I had papers, so I started preparing for them. Normally Dania and I shared the same room, but there was a study room. Whenever I had to prepare for exam, I used to do it there. Firstly, I couldn't sleep there because there was no place to lie down. And secondly, I had a habit of memorizing by pacing back and forward. I was memorizing my work when a mobile rang. It was an unknown number. I picked the phone and said, "Hello?" He said, "How are you?" I asked, "Who's speaking?" He said, "Your future brother in law, Arif." I said, "Shameless, ill mannered. Aren't you ashamed? Do you talk to girls by lying so much? Tell me." He said, "Roha, what are you saying?" I said, "Oh, Okay, so you even know my name. Look, don't try to fool me. I'm very clever. And I have found out that you are not my brother in law. So, you are a loafer, a shallow, ill mannered boy, and you don't know that my father has a very good relationship with the police. And if I gave them your number, they will break your legs. He said, "What's wrong with you? I'm Arif. I think Dania's phone is not charged. Just a minute. Let me talk to her," I said. "Why should I let you talk to my sister?" he said. "I was talking to her on the phone and the call disconnected while we were talking. And you don't know what you're thinking. I've already told you my name. You're still saying who knows what about me." Just then, the study room opened and Dania was standing in front of me and said, "Give me your phone for a minute. I need to talk to Arif." My phone was off. I looked at Dania in surprise. So it was indeed Arif, brother. My heart almost stopped. I said, "Sorry, Arif, brother. I thought it was a wrong number. Actually, a wrong number is bothering me." He said, "It's okay, but I told you my name. Not a stranger would tell you their name, right? Now, how would they know what foolishness I have committed with a stranger?" I handed the phone to Dania, but I kept feeling scared every day. The good thing was that I didn't receive a call from that stranger who had embraced me quite a bit in front of my own brother in law. Anyway, thank God my exams ended and Dania's engagement preparations began. As soon as we were about to enter the hall, Dania took off my glasses and said, "You look so pretty without glasses." I said, "I can't see anything. Everything looks so blurry." Dania gave me back my glasses. She said, "Absolutely not. What do you have to do there? You just have to sit. It's not that blurry for you." Well, I could see nearby things clearly, but if something was a bit far, I couldn't see it properly without glasses. Anyway, Dania kept my glasses at home and taking my hand. She led me with her. We were just two sisters, there was no brother. Dania was seated on the stage. After a while, the boy's family also arrived. I was sitting next to Dania on the stage at that time, which is why I couldn't see the people coming from the front clearly. Only blurry faces were visible. Then my mother started saying to me, "You, what are you doing sitting here? Come with me." I went down to the stage with my brother. We went forward. My mother put a garland of flowers around Arif Bhai's neck, and I put a gajra, a bracelet of roses, and a bud on his mother's hand, and then on his sister's too. Just then my eyes fell on that young man. He wasn't with two or three boys. He was talking. Maybe he had come with groom's side. He had arrived late, so he was behind the groom's side. He has just entered. I don't know why I suspected that he had unnecessarily joined the event, just like many boys and girls do. They just get ready and show up at any function because he wasn't talking to anybody except his two friends, as if he don't know anybody. And both of his friends also seemed the same. I watched them for a while. They sat down at a table. If they were relatives or friends of the boy, they would have sat beside him or with him. I watched them for a full hour. They were busy in their own pleasant conversation. I went and stood in front of the table. I snapped my fingers, and all the three boys turned their attention to me. And that boy smiled and looking at me. I said, "Hey, mister, stand up." At my words, his forehead forward, and he asked me, "Me?" I said, "Yes, you. Get up." At my words, he immediately stood up. But those boys were watching. He said, "Yes, tell me." I said, "I know everything about why you've come here to eat mangoes," he said. "I don't understand what you mean." I said, "I'll explain now. Don't try to fool me at all." He said, "No, no, I'm not fooling you at all. You tell me. What should I understand as you?" I asked, "From whose side have you come? From the groom's side or from the bride's side?" Hearing this, he first looked at me with great surprise, then said, "From whose side are you? From the groom's side or from the bride's side?" The same sentence that is often spoken by those who unnecessarily come to the other people's function for free food. I said, "Why should I tell you? You tell me, from whose side have you come?" He started saying, "I think you joined our function just to get free meat." He was repeating my own words back to me. I said, "Oh, hello, I'm the girl's sister. My name is Ruha. I'm not like you. You aren't you the one I met you at the bookshop who was saying that you are my brother-in-law? Tell me truthfully, who are you? And what are you doing here? One of the two young men sitting there started saying, "Look, madam," the conversation ended there. The boy standing opposite me mentioned to that boy to be quiet. I said, "I'm talking, aren't I?" Then he said, "You guessed absolutely right. I have only come here with my friends to eat free meal. I live in your area, so I used to see you coming and going at the bookshop. Then a rumor also reached my ear that talks are going about your sister's marriage. I then shot an arrow in the dark that I am your brother in law, and you even told me the name of your brother in law and sister. You made it easy for me. Then it's not difficult to find out whose engagement is in the neighborhood and where the function is. I thought, let's have fun. My friends, both you are very intelligent. You immediately understood why I am here. I said, "Come on, well done. Take these useless friends of yours and get out. Otherwise, I will make noise and your spectacle will be made." He began to say, "Look, there's so much food. You can't eat it alone, can you? And your guests won't eat it much either. What difference does it make if we three poor, helpless people also eat? I will give you blessings." I said, "Absolutely not. Get out of here. Otherwise, I will kick you out by dragging you." He began to say, "Look, I am telling you very politely. We will sit quietly, eat the food, and leave. In the monkey's youth. One theft on the top of that arrogance." I said, "Are you leaving? Or should I call someone?" My tone became loud. He said, "Call whoever you want to call. I'll also see who can remove me from here. I'll eat the food and then I'll leave." I said, "Okay, if you are truly your father's child, then stand right here." I was afraid he might run away. He said, "I'm truly my father's child, so I will stand here. Call whoever you want to call." Now my father is mentioned far and wide. They were not so visible because my eyesight were weak. I said, "Stop right here. I'll go and bring my father. Beware if you try to run away." I said, "I went to call my father. But when I brought my father, the table was completely empty." My father asked, "What's the matter with you? Who is Roha here?" I said, "Father, I don't know which freeloading boys had come here. I went to call you and they ran away." "Okay, I'll tell the guards not to let any stranger inside." Then the commission of the engagement ceremony began. My father held my hand and took me onto the stage, where a considerable crowd had gathered. This was because it was the ring wearing ceremony. My father himself took me onto the stage and cleared the crowd to bring me forward. First, Dania put the ring on Arif's brother, but when it was Arif's brother's turn, they started dressing him. "Hey brother, where is Hadid? The boy has only one brother and he is missing from the scene." Then I realized that he also has a brother. A little later, the same boy came on the stage with his rowdy friends. He said, "Make the way for His Majesty." Everyone laughed at his words. Then everyone moved out of this way. I was surprised. Then he sat next to Arif's brother. So he was his brother. He was also very ill mannered. Then he looked at me smiling because I was standing at some distance. Dania put the ring on Arif's brother's finger. I was also looking at him occasionally, and whenever my gaze fell on him, he was also looking at me and smiling. But once he winked his eyes, I nervously looked away. Shameless fellow. Anyway, the engagement ceremony took place, sweets were distributed, and then dinner. I got involved. I had invited many of my college friends. When I went to sit there, my mother said, "What are you doing? It's your sister's engagement. Go and ask the guest if anyone needs anything, especially the groom's side." "What will they say if we don't ask them properly?" I said. "Let me just sit there with Dania. I'll get the food served there." Saying this, my mother left. My friend asked, "Where are you going?" "It's my sister's engagement function. Let me go and ask the guest. Anyway, no one is so foolish as to tell me, 'Go bring chapati, bring food.' It's just formality. I'll be back in just 10 minutes." Saying this, I went to every table and politely asked, "Are you eating properly? Do you need anything?" He was sitting there and enjoying the meal. This time he was sitting with his sister and his mother was also present. So I compelled to go to that table. If he were with his friends, I would never have gone to ask. I ignored him and asked Dania's aunt, "Do you need anything?" She said, "No, my son, I don't need anything." I said, "Please eat properly." Before I could turn back, he spoke, asking, Roha, I had to turn back. He said, "This roti has become very cold. Please bring me hot rotis." Hearing this, his sister elbowed him on his stomach. She said, "Go get it yourself." He said, "Why should I? We are the guest, and they are the host. It's their duty to serve us well. I haven't come here to eat free rotis. My brother is getting engaged. I will eat heartily." I was already very angry with him. Anyway, I put hot rotis on the table for him. He extended the plate towards me and then held it, saying, "The water is very warm. Please bring a cold one." Mischief danced in his eyes. Without, without looking at him, as soon as I turned to leave, he said, "Miss Roha, please bring me some fish too. I haven't tasted it yet." I picked up the cold bottle, put some fish on a plate, and placed it in front of him. I asked, "Do you need anything else?" He replied, "No. If I need anything, I will get it myself. I'm not a stranger, am I?" He was eating fish with them. From there, I went back and sat with my friends. He was ill mannered and shameless. After making me do all the work, he was saying, "I will take it myself." Anyways, my final papers were over. My sister's wedding was fixed 6 months after. After the papers, I was free. One night at 12 o'clock, I received a call. I picked up the phone and it was unfamiliar voice. "Who's speaking?" I was half asleep. He said, "Didn't you recognize me?" I said, "No." He just trained he said, "Strain your brain a little and you'll remember who I am." I said, "Just tell me, who are you at 12 o'clock at night?" Half sleep, I'm absolutely not in a state to train my brain. Right now, I just want to sleep. He said, "I had something very important to talk you about." I said, "First, tell me, who are you?" He said, "Haven't you recognized me?" "Oh, I'm talking Harib, your brother in law's brother." "Look, you are my brother in law's brother and never got so familiar with anyone that they could call me Yar, friend. Don't try to be informal with me." He immediately composed himself and said, "I'm also not someone who goes around being overly friendly with every girl unnecessarily. Actually, do you remember that day, the book you bought from the bookshop? I need that book. And I had gone to the bookshop, but I didn't find it there. There was only one, and it's with you. Your papers are already done away. I needed to prepare something from this." I asked, "What preparation do you need to do?" He said, "Actually, I had a supplementary exam, and now my friend's exam are happening. So if you gave me that book, it will help me a lot." Meaning he also had a supplementary exam. I said, "Okay, come tomorrow. I'll give you that book." He said, "Thank you very much." He hung up the call. The next day he come to our house in the evening. My mother was little surprised too. He said, "Auntie, I needed to get a book from Ruha. I had one paper left and I needed to prepare for it." My mother said, "Okay, okay, son, please sit down." When I found out that had come, I picked up my book and came to the drawing room. As soon as he saw me, he stood up and greeted me. I replied indifferently. He had and handed him the book. He glanced at the book and said, "Thank you very much." I said, "No problem." He said, "If I could get some notes, I would be grateful. My preparation would be good." I said, "Okay, I'll bring them." I bought him the notes for the same subject. I also gave him past papers. I said, "Prepare from these two and you will pass." He said, "Thank you very much." Before he could go, my mother came into the room and asked, "Hey son, where are you going?" "Oh, sit down and have some tea before you go." "Make tea, Ruha, for brother," my mother asked me to do. Then he comfortably sat back on the sofa. I went to the kitchen and made him tea. I also placed biscuits and other things on the plate. I put everything on a tray and placed the tray on the table in front of him. By then, Dania also sat with him and started talking and said, "Ruha is very good at studying. If you want to ask anything, go ahead and ask." I said, "I don't have time, and besides, I have to do a computer course until the results come out and I get admission to the university." I had given a very blunt answer. He said, "No problem. I will bother you by calling you if I don't understand anything. You can tell me over the phone." Then he drank the tea and left. Dania said, "Is this how you talk?" I said, "This is how I talk. Don't you know I find him to be completely chiefster anyway?" She said, "He's not like that. He talks very politely." I said, "Yes, this politeness he shows, and you like him so much. Just wait and see after marriage, when his true colors are revealed. So you won't stop complaining about his flaws." She said, "Well, see about that when the time comes." And she said, "If he asks you anything, don't mess up my image." I said, "Okay, I'll tell him." I had enrolled in short computer course at a nearby institute. There were boys and girls there. It was there I saw Hadid once. As soon as his eyes fell on me, he started waving me hello from the distance. My friend asked, "Who is this boy?" I said, "He is my sister's brother in law." She said, "Oh, okay." Just then he came near me and said, "Are you learning? I also just joined today." I asked, "Is your paper done?" He replied, "Yes, it's done. Now just pray that I passed." I don't have much hope. In a little while, our class had also started. He probably didn't even know the ABCs of computer and laptops. He was asking very illogical and silly questions. He had annoyed the teacher for an hour. When the class ended, the sir said, "Is there any student who can teach him something back?" Although there were many boys there and quite intelligent ones too. He immediately spoke up. He said, "Roha is my distant relative, so I should understand from her." Sir said, "Yes, why not?" I looked at him angrily. What kind of nonsense was this? Now he started sitting on the next chair to me. Until the class didn't start, I used to tell him small things and he would go, "Sir," he used to say, "I don't understand, please explain it again." When I was explaining to him, he would keep looking at my face. When I asked him if he understood, he would shake his head in negation. I was genuinely fed up with him. I had never seen such a dumb person in my entire life. But when the test happened, his marks were best. And I was looking at him in surprise. His marks were even better than mine. But the credit goes to he gave it to me, saying I got such good marks because of Roha. She explained it very well. As soon as I got exam admission to the university, news of Dania's wedding started circulating. My new university has just started. I was going after 3 days anyways because my mother told me to finish my shopping first. I had great desires to study from beginning. I went after 3 or 4 days. As soon as I entered the class, my eyes fell on Hadid. He came near me, smiling as he saw me. He asked, "Have you also taken admission in the same university?" See, what a beautiful coincidence. I also got admission here too. I asked, "Have your results come? Have your papers been cleared?" He said, "Yes, they have." Then he said, "Thank God, you're also my classmate. Whenever I don't understand something, I will ask you." I said, "No, I need to focus on my studies, so you better forgive me." Saying this, I was looking for a place to sit. Many seats were already full. He said, "Come sit with me." I said, "No, thank you very much." I sat on the back seat. All the seats for girls were full, so I was forced to sit with a boy. But the boy was well mannered. As soon as I put my bag in the seat, he also put his. I just said hi to him and he sat down. He also formally greets me and he started looking straight ahead. But I noticed that Hadid was looking at that boy with a long lot of anger, and his anger was beyond my understanding. After a while, the professor came into the class and started explaining the next lecture, but I wasn't understanding anything properly because I had come after 3 to 4 days. Everything had already started. When I asked the professor a few questions, he said that any student would explain in free period. He immediately said, "Sir, I will. I will explain to her that she is my distant relative." Sir said, "Okay, explain it to her." But I didn't want to argue with him. I didn't like him. As soon as the classes ended, I started talking to a few girls and understood the lecture from them. There were only a few points that were not clear to me. I knew everything else. After that, I always used to sit with some girls or the other. I didn't like boys gathering, and especially I really disliked boys who flirted with girls and tried to be free with them. And Hadith seemed somewhat like that to me. He would always be chewing gum in his mouth. He would keep playing with the silver chain around his neck with his fingers, or he would keep moving his chin back and forth by putting his fingers in it. He used to look at me with sidelong glances. He would start talking to the girl I sat with, making excuses. Sometimes he would ask me for notes. Sometimes he would say, "Roha, I didn't understand today's lecture. Explain it to me." I would explain it. If I ordered something while sitting with my friends in the canteen, he would immediately come and sit on the third chair. Once my friend Hina asked, "Why do you just come and sit at our table with that face?" He said, I'm not here for you, but for Roha. She is my relative. He started asking about Dania's again. He started talking about the wedding preparation. I politely responded once or twice, but the third time I said, Hadid, we come here to study, and I don't like it when we sit here and discuss our home matters. And then you go around telling one that I'm your distant relative. He asked, Does it bother you? I said, Yes, it bothers me a lot. Then he said, I won't do it again. Then he got up from near me and left. Even he come to the canteen again, he wouldn't come near to our table. However, he would sit right in front and try to look at me with a sidelong glances. And this wasn't just something I felt, my friends also noticed. One time she said, What is this new guy to you? I said, He's nothing to me, just my sister's brother in law, she said. He stared at you a lot. I said, No, it's nothing like that. You're mistaken. I deliberately changed the subject. A week later, Arthur took our test, and Hadi got the highest marks in that test. That's when such a revelation struck me that my mind, because that boy